astronomy program, which sponsors the Bunyan lecture. These lectures and some other activities of the astronomy program are supported from an endowment from Mr. James T. Bunyan, a longtime employee of Stanford, a student of philosophy with keen interest in evolution of the universe and life in the universe. As requested by Mr. Bunyan, the primary goal of this lecture should be, and I quote, to explore the philosophical implication of scientific disciplines such as astronomy, astrophysics, biology, etc., and to present a coherent and reasonable account of the structure and inner workings of the cosmos, as well as the dawn of life, the ascent of man, and the status of the human spirit in the scheme of things. He also requested that the lecturer should be a person with broad scientific and philosophic culture, versed in current developments of astronomy, astrophysics, and allied subjects, and capable of scrutinizing various cosmological theories. My colleagues and I in the astronomy program wholeheartedly agree with this, Mr. Bunyan, and that these subjects are of great importance. And we are grateful for his contribution, which has allowed us to bring experts and distinguished lecturers to Stanford to share with the general audience the latest findings in astronomy and cosmology that we have witnessed over the past 20 years, and more importantly, to explore the meaning of the discoveries and their relevance to humanity. Well, the aim of the lectures, as I just told you, is a tall order, but there are very few people who are as qualified as Professor Fang Lizhi for this task, and we are delighted that he's agreed to be our 10th Bunyan lecturer. The Bunyan lectures actually consist of two parts. Yesterday afternoon, Professor Fang presented a technical lecture on topology of the universe, and tonight we will speak on science, cosmology, and democracy in China. It may seem strange to some of you that Dr. Fang, the leading political dissident of modern China, should be presenting a lecture on topology of the universe, whatever that means, and cosmology. But as he states in the preface of the Chinese edition of his book, which was recently translated, the one called Dreaming Down the Great Wall, and I quote, I am a physicist, and most of my time is spent in teaching physics and conducting research. All I have done is to speak my mind about injustice and irrationality. And indeed, he spoke his mind from the very beginning of his career. In fact, his first battle that brought him into Chinese political limelight was over intellectual freedom within his professional field right after his PhD when he was 21 years old. Professor Fang's scientific career did not begin in astrophysics and cosmology, but in more practical fields of solid-state physics and laser physics. But his budding career in physics was interrupted by the Cultural Revolution, during which he was branded as a reactionary intellectual and sent down to the countryside to work in a mine and work on the railroad tracks. Here, having with him only one book on classical theory of fields, which he studied from cover to cover, probably many times, he has a long time there, caused him to switch his field of scientific research to cosmology. Ironically, this action of banishment led him to research in the Big Bang model of the universe later on in his research, and a branch of research that the Cultural Revolution was branded as bourgeoisie idealistic pseudoscience. Ever since the end of Cultural Revolution, Professor Fang, in spite of other political turmoil in his life, has been a prolific researcher. He has more than 150 research articles, and as many as 15 books in astrophysics and cosmology to his credit. He has been a guest and visitor and lecturer in many institutions throughout the world, and has received numerous scientific awards in China and abroad, among the latter being the first award of Gravity Research Foundation and award from New York Academy of Sciences. He is both an original researcher and popularizer of science, and his accolades and his keen interest in freedom in search of truth make him an ideal candidate to present this 10th annual Bunyan lecture. Well, I've mentioned only some of Professor Fang's scientific achievements here. As most of you know, and in spite of his disclaimer, he has an even more significant impact on the political arena, defending truth vehemently, speaking against injustice with considerable risk to his and his family's well-being. It will be even more difficult for me to summarize his achievement in that area. Let me say a few things before we speak. Professor Fang has achieved the unique distinction of being expelled from the Communist Party not once, but twice. First, this occurred in 1957 at age 51, when he refused to recant a lengthy memorial he had written, the one I just mentioned, on the need to form the Chinese educational system. After the Cultural Revolution, he was gradually rehabilitated and allowed to teach and carry out research, and eventually appointed as Vice President of prestigious Chinese University of Science and Technology. Here, Professor Fang met with considerable success and even approval by authorities, and his success were written about in the party paper, The People's Daily, and approved. Well, this, however, did not last long, and Professor Fang continued to speak against central authority and advocate freedom, not only in universities, but in the rest of China. He was eventually fired from his position and expelled from the party once more. As is now well known, then came the student demonstration and a tragic event in Tiananmen Square, which I won't go into detail. All this forcing Professor Fang and his wife, Professor Li Xishuan, who is also here with us, to seek refuge in American embassy. Eventually, from there, they were allowed to leave China unharmed and arrived to the West on June 1990, less than a year ago. Well, this, of course, made Professor Fang even much more well-known than he was before throughout the war. For this and for his previous work on freedom, individual freedom and human rights, he has received even more awards. Too many for me to mention all of them here. Ever since he has left in China, Professor Fang has continued to teach, lecture, and carry out research in the Institute of Advanced Study at Princeton University in Princeton, New Jersey. And he has also continued to push for democratic reforms in China. It is therefore a great pleasure that I now invite Professor Fang to deliver this kind of final lecture.
Thank you. It's my great honor to be the speaker of the 1991 Bunyan lecture. The title of my lecture called Short in the Science of the Cosmology and Democracy in China. In fact, until yesterday, I don't know the title. Original, I had a different, and it's proposed by my friend here. So this, I found this title a little bit difficult. You know, something like we have 4 topics. Now, science and cosmology, democracy, China, how to link each other. So, maybe science has a relation with cosmology. This is perfectly clear. How science links with democracy, how cosmology links with democracy, how link with China, that's difficult. So this yesterday I brought this that show difficult to give such lecture. And the more difficult is, you know, in this poster, in this position, they show a picture. You know, normally poster in this position about show the abstract of this talk. Now the abstract is a supernova. The supernova. This is record of the supernova, and this is more than the radio observation about the supernova 1054. How this picture related to democracy in China? This let me more difficult. How how to link that? I found maybe a little bit. The supernova is of course the ancient days. At that time, China without democracy. But if you found link supernova, of course, the topic of astrophysics, even more than astrophysics, we still study this topic. But in ancient days, they also linked with the politics. That's true. I tell you the story, the first story related to the supernova is from here as the abstract. Then this is related to the astrology divination. How about this one? During the ancient days, for this one, the astrology make a prediction in Chinese war start. Which means this is some emperor will die soon. And the result is really something. The also said some emperor died in the next year, just next year. So this is true. We can find in some the record of China historical literature. So maybe somebody want to ask me question. How about just the supernova? So I'm not astrology, I'm astronomy, I'm astrophysics, cosmologist. I difficult to make such a prediction using astrology. Even I know the result, I don't want to disclose at this moment who will die. So the first I will emphasize I'm not an astrologist to make some the prediction of the future of China. So I'm astrophysics. So I first emphasize I will discuss the future of China as an astrophysics view. So this I should say from this poster, what means the astrophysics view? So if you from that point of view, then we can find even we can find some link between the science, the cosmology, and the future and democracy of China in China. How to link? Many people here want to know China. I just mentioned China is this one. China has an area is about the same as the United States, but the population is much higher. This number is statistical result given by last year, in the 1st of July last year. But I will say now the number is much higher than that. Because according to the birth rate in China, here +1 per 2 or 3 seconds. So very fast going up. This is China. So because China is so large and so high population, and also the language different, the culture different from the Europe, also from the United States. So many people thinking China is completely different than China is completely different world even. And so then what happened there is maybe is quite completely different from the rest of the world. So this means normally people always thinking China is quite far, quite different. We use that world map to show that China was right here and the United States right here. So the farthest on the world. So people are thinking the Chinese science or cosmology, some of the democracy maybe is in other world problem. I would say even from a astrophysics point of view, it's not correct the idea. Not correct. From our point of view, then the world is very small. It's like this, we call it small world. and a global village without coal. So, in this, if you start from the real, then you should think China. Where is China? Then China is in a small world, like that one. Where is China? It is in a small earth. So this is quite important. It's not job, this means if you consider China as is a part of the small world, then how about the future of China? We can make some prediction. It's not even the same as the astrology. Because now China already become a part of in the world, and the world are so small, and the information flow that the whole world become in one atmosphere. And so that means the trend of the world will also influence the future of China. That means that China is not able to avoid the influence by the trend of our world. Which is the trend of our world? I think one of the trends in today's world is the democracy. It means that more the country gradually become democracy. So I would make a general prediction in China in the future will also become a country, a democratic country. So if you from that point of view, it's very easy to accept that idea. Even you say China at this moment, if you locally observe China, you can find so many different from the other side of the world. So the problem only we should study is the future is democracy. The problem is we should only study the time scale and why China is still difficult to become a democratic country, which is difficult, and how many times we need to China to be a democracy country. Now I turn to the title of this talk. Now the science and the cosmology, democracy in China. So in this way, we can make some if we study the relationship between the science, cosmology, democracy, we can find some answer about which is the main difficulty in China to find the democracy, and which is how about the time scale. Now I tell you a history related to astronomy, also cosmology, science, and time. China in the ancient days we have the astronomy and to take advanced level, but from the late of the 16th century, Chinese the astronomy already behind the advanced level in our world. So at that time, Chinese scholars, especially Chinese astronomy, already know we should study the advanced, the modern astronomy to change the traditional astronomy. So we try to do that in our time. So this means sometimes China, but in the society, Chinese society, sometimes adopt the modern astronomy, sometimes refuse modern astronomy. We found such a very interesting history. In the late 16th centuries, the materialists, Italy, the mercenary, sparing some modern astronomy into China. And the Chinese scholar, Chinese astronomy studied the modern astronomy. Very easy to understand. Then Chinese astronomy want to use the modern astronomy to make China calendar. But they fail because the emperor don't like modern astronomy. They still emphasize we should use the traditional one. So in that period, they refuse modern astronomy. Until the beginning of the 17th century, I remember the year of 1629, we have a solar eclipse happen. So they have two groups make a prediction one group used traditional astronomy, one group used modern astronomy to make prediction on the solar eclipse. Then the result, the prediction given by given by traditional astronomy, the arrow is about no, 30 minutes. But the prediction given by modern astronomy, less than 2 minutes. So they very clear show which one is better, which one is already behind the advanced level. So due to that event, the forces show very clear. So then the emperor, the first time they agreed to use modern astronomy to make China calendar. So this is in China history, first time to use the modern astronomy to make the calendar. But the year, the duration is not too long. It's about 10 years. When new emperor comes, they back to old ancient. They still want to back to the tradition, use astronomy. They refuse modern astronomy. So the history going down. So at that time, the 5 astronomers were put to death because all of the 5 astronomers were pro-modern astronomy. I will also say that all the 5 astronomers were from the Beijing Astronomical Observatory. That is also my former position. So this about 20 years later, the new emperor comes. They found still many evidence show modern astronomy is good. So he reused the modern astronomy to make Chinese calendar. So this they call Kangxi, the emperor time. They are about the 50 years. Then when the new emperor comes, go back again. And this Yongzheng emperor, he cut off all the scientific exchange between China and the foreign the scientific community. So that we call it also a dark time. About the duration is about 100 years. So until the middle of 19th century, China had the first department of modern astronomy. Even at that period, Chinese official calendar still based on the tradition astronomy. Until beginning of the century, after the revolution of the Republic of China, in the year of 1930, the China reused the modern astronomy to make a calendar. This is third time in China to adopt the modern astronomy. This means until now, we use the modern astronomy is still less than 100 years. It's very short. So you can see how difficult if we want to have the modern science. How very difficult this time. And this is I would say just one more. This is the dictatorship. The emperor don't like. They don't like the modern. Don't like the modern astronomy. Don't like the modern science. It's already show the evidence. Now I would say that's phenomenon. This means history sometimes go ahead 3 steps, go back 2.5 steps. That's the phenomenon still not stopped yet until today. I will show the picture same as that by modern days. I did a statistical on the number of articles published in the Chinese the physical magazine China. They also show the same phenomenon as I showed in the ancient days. That period is I took the education and I make the physical research. That's the whole period. The Chinese Communist Party took the power in 1949. In the first period, China authority encouraged scientific research. So the number of the publications going up. And during the late of 1950, they start to replace the intellectual. So they level going down. This is we call the anti-writing campaign. Just the chairman on the side, I've been twice expelled from the party. The first time is right here. So this is down, goes down there. And after this period, in the beginning of 1960s, then going up again, the third, the scientific research. Okay, the physical publication also going up. Then until the 1966, when the cultural revolution happened, then go down to zero. Yeah. So this is where this clear show this then go down. Now quite recent, the curve is come from the last more 10 years, when especially when Deng Xiaoping took the power in the late 1970s. He also encouraged the scientific research. Then they go up very quick. Now, you know, the second all change again. He also replaced the scientific research again. So this is the third time, three times they occur in the last 40 years. Why, you know? Why the authorities, the ancient days and today's authorities always make such, sometimes they accept, sometimes they repress, like such the phenomenon. Then I can explain, because my personal life is quite related to this period. You know, in that period, why the Chinese authority encourages the science? Because they know the science will help to empower, especially if we resort modern science, then resort modern military. You know, as I mentioned, I studied when I was a student, I was training as a nuclear physics. So my first job is to do the theory of nuclear reactor. All those groups, 2 years later, become the group make bomb. So that period, many people encourage you to research and help the modernization of military weapon or something like that. Because they know we have such, they have the power becomes power becomes stable. But why sometimes they replace the intellectual? Because you know when the scientific community grew up. Because if you encourage scientific research, of course the scientific community will grow up. But the scientific community has a different value. You know, as a physics, they always grow the freedom of thinking, at least. If we resort the freedom of thinking, you're not able to do any research. You know, we should have we want to raise questions, we want to thinking questions. We then want to challenge any authorities. So then the authorities don't like such idea from the you want to raise questions. Then they don't like that. So they sometimes replace. If the authorities feel that so strong the challenge to them, then they replace. Then they fight us many times like that. So that means the Chinese authority has a dilemma. That means the dilemma is the Chinese authority wants like the science, but they don't like scientists. I would show you the evidence they like science but don't like the scientists. Like science, but don't like scientists. And you know, last 2 years ago, before they came a massacre, one of the Chinese scientific magazine invited me to submit a paper to them want to publish my paper, scientific paper. I did. The paper is cosmology, one topic on cosmology, and the gravitation lensing effect, something like that. The paper is done by one of my students and myself. We submit. So the 10 massacre happened. So then the editor-in-chief of this magazine, very difficult how to publish the article, because my name is there. My name also in the most wanted list. So how to publish the editor-in-chief is difficult. But finally, later 1 year, about this, from 1989 to 1990, they finally published the article. Article published. And I got a reference. And because my students also get out, he sent me a reference. I found the article very interesting. Originally, the manuscript, my name, the author names, I'm the first, my students is the second. When they publish, they give like that. The first is my students, and the last word is not my name, it's yet all. So this is very clear, sure. Chinese authority like science, maybe, but don't like science. Scientific. You know what I mean? I would say, you know, the authority, China authority, not China authority. I think in the communist the country about same, even in Soviet Union, I think same. The common ideology, especially don't like cosmology. Don't like cosmology sometimes. You know, I took a quotation from Stephen Hawking. You know him. You know, Stephen Hawking make the brief history of the time. You know, it's a philosophical implication of this change from absolute space and time to relative space and time have been performed, but have often not been performed appreciated. Lenin wrote a pamphlet attacking relativity because he thought it was sort to the absolute system of Hegel and Marx. You know, this is we know the history. So this means China comes ideology always don't like the cosmology. You know, we cosmology basic on the theory of even Einstein's gravitation theory. So in China too, this is happening in Soviet Union, in China too. You know, also in the not too far ago, in 1985. At that time, I started to study to make research on the quantum cosmology. So I wrote an article to something not a scientific article, a popular article. You know, just as I mentioned, sometimes I like to make some popular article to let people know the new idea. So I wrote such a popular article to introduce the idea of quantum cosmology. This paper, that article published in a Chinese magazine, Science. And this article, I don't know, it's been also read by a most top leader at that time who take in charge the ideology. The first man take in charge for the ideology. If no Chinese history, know Hu Xiaomong at that time. He read my article. He immediately wrote a letter to the editor-in-chief. He said, Fang's article is anti-Marxist. I have no idea why is quantum cosmology anti-Marxist. I don't know if he knows the quantum cosmology or not. So I know. So this is the same as I mentioned Hawking's quote mentioned Lenin's pamphlet. So this means right now I would say there's our article. You know, the author came massacre when my wife and I went to the U.S. Embassy. All my article is banned in China. Not only all the books is banned in China. Especially some book on cosmology. This book is Creation of the Universe that myself and my also banned in China. So they were afraid. They seem to show the authority. We're afraid of cosmology. It shows that maybe cosmology left them difficult. And I don't know why. Maybe the cosmology sometimes the open person mind. They always tell you what happened in nature and you should open mind, don't lower your view. And then if people have opened their mind, they very easy to challenge the authority. So they don't like this field very much, the authority. I would say this not only for the cosmology. The China authority know if people be more educated, then they more easy to want to have the freedom of speech, freedom of thinking, the freedom of the more freedom. So if the people pro more freedom, then the authority will make more challenging. So this is why in China we have a big problem is education. Because the authority always keep the education very, very low, because they know that if low education, poor education, then easy to control. I just show you one evidence. This I made statistical. Also, how many education in our budget, in our per GNP. In China always in the last 40 years, always less than 3%. 3%. So this number is quite low. Right? People here don't know the number. The number much smaller, much lower than, or much lower than developed countries like Europe, like Eastern Europe, West Europe, like the United States or Japan. And this number also lower than the country which has about same GNP per person like China. For instance, India also higher than that one. So this shows the authority don't like, they sometimes need science, means they don't like the science open people's mind. They keep the education is in the poor situation. So this shows how difficult, why the difficult in China, we want to become a modernized country, become a developed country, become a democratic country. It's because the authority always want to keep in the low level, in the poor level. So this is why in China, many people, more and more people, they involved in the pro-democracy movement. So this is, I would say, in China, in this century, they already have many types of the pro-democracy movement. People here only know the last one, the 1989, the pro-democracy movement. I would say this is not the first time. Before that, there are all many times. The first time, in the beginning of the century, in 1990, I would say at that time, the slogan, the pro-democracy movement, the slogan of the pro-democracy movement is just the democracy and the science. It's true, same as this poster. The science, democracy and the science. It's true. It's just the slogan. The people's main demand just want to have science into China, bring science into China, bring the democracy into China. But I would say after that, we'll already have many times such a pro-democracy movement. Before Communist Party took power, we had. After Communist Party took power, still not stop. I just mentioned the anti-whites the time, and after that also many times, still many times. So this means Chinese people never gave up the demand of the democracy, because they know if no democracy, then China will not be able to become the developed country, will not be able to have modernization. So I would say this time, this moment, the last time is also not the first time. Sorry, it's not the last time. We have some more democracy movement in the future. Thus we can make such a prediction. If you can say never stop. So of course, last time this pro-democracy movement in China failed. Some people ask me why the 1989 pro-democracy movement in East Europe got success, but in China failed. Why is that so different? Maybe there are many reasons. I'm difficult to answer in detail, but I just will give a brief discussion about this question. First, because somebody said maybe in China it's difficult, we're not able to become a democracy country, so always fail. I would say this statement. I don't like accept that statement. And now some students even feel their side the disappointment at the moment. But I would say this not stop. China will have some the democracy movement that will get success. Why they are different? I just mentioned the time scale is different in China and from the Eastern Europe, from the rise of war. Because China already has so long history. You know, the history we can back to the 15th century BC. We can have found written the history right here. Then, so this is about 10 times of the United States history. So they're quite different. In United States, when I went here, I found that here time scale very short. You hear you like some 100 hours war, then you like 100 hours is your time scale. But in China, it's possible 100 hours, something 10. We should take a more long time because it already has so long the history. So this means then even just I mentioned, even we adopt this modern autonomy, we pay about 300 years. We pay that. So for a democracy movement, we only pay still less than 100 years. So we should have time. We need time. So I would say if this time scale is true, then you can find almost every 10 years, every 20 years we have that movement. So then maybe next 10 years we have again. So this we can make such prediction. Somebody said now it's very quiet in China. We can't see any activity of the pro-democracy movement. No, but maybe it's true. If especially some foreigner who visit China, they found very quiet in the street, very quiet in the campus, very quiet. Then where is the pro-democracy movement? Of course, this is a difficult time because China authorities use the military control. The country became the police country. Even in some university campus, set up some new police stations to watch students. So they feel it difficult to do anything. So but I would say, even in this situation, the energy, the potential energy of pro-democracy movement still there, still alive, but just waiting for a new chance, new opportunity, and also the energy were going up, going up. Even in this quiet, we call the quiet period, you can still find some very interesting the evidence, very strong evidence show the people trying to never give up the demand of democracy. One very clear, very strong evidence just show from recently in some newspaper, Chinese newspaper. People's Daily is the Chinese Communist Party's newspaper. In the 2 weeks, 2 months ago, in this issue, they published a portrait. The portrait wrote in Chinese, this is in English translated. Chinese character is very symmetry. And you can, if you print it like this, You can read this way. You also can read this way or this way. Any way you can read. Despite the isotopic, any way you can read. In ancient days, somebody if don't like the emperor and don't want against the emperor, knowledge is a typical skill to write a poetry and make some word inside the poetry. If you read some different way, you find they are against the emperor. Now the Chinese, the intellectual still use the same way, same way. Then you read this way, they say the poetry, but you read this way, that's the slogan, the done with the and the people read. So it's clear, very clear show that people never give up the demand of democracy. Still there, still alive. I would say this is a demonstration use tradition skill. Tradition wrote the poetry. Now in the time also changed. Now we call the high-tech era. Since also sometimes Chinese intellectual also use new science to do something. I tell you about same story as this one, but use a different way. The last year in China, we have Asia Gap. They took place in Beijing, and for managing the Asia Gap, a new computer system set up. Then when the Asia Gap took place, before it took place, we found the computer get virus. That virus not too difficult for you using the computer, but just ask a question. That means you can open the computer, type your password, then the screen not show the regular signal, but they show you a question. The question is asked you, is the Prime Minister Li Peng a killer? In the screen and ask you answer yes or no. If you answer no, you have to end the computer down. If you type the yes, go ahead. So you can say this. I recently heard. This is not only one time. I recently heard many times use the virus skill to show the people's demand. So this means we call the demonstration by high tech. So this relationship, we can find the relation between science and democracy, very close relationship in China. Now I will show you one more the evidence. The Chinese the pro-democracy movement, before the last time movement is quite isolated. It means all such movement is isolated in China. It means outside the China, not too many knowledge, not too many information about what happened in China. This is not the international community not to pay too many attention to the Chinese movement at that time. Now the time change. China in a small world, and especially last time movement already change the attitude of the international community. That means international community pay many attention about how all the colleagues in China. So this means after that, the Chinese pro-democracy movement also get many support from international society, international community. That is also very important for the future of China. It means Chinese problem is not only Chinese care, also care by other people. So such support is very, very important for the future. For Chinese became a democracy country. So I just want. This is a very simple
it's very easy to know this relation. More support, then more easy to get success. I don't want to discuss it too more. I just show you one evidence which relates to my personal experience. Just mention yesterday I gave a talk on the topology of the universe. And that partially of the work in the talk is still, I have been done when I stay in the U.S. embassy. So, because when we went to the embassy, we are isolated, of course. It's a very hard time for us in our life. But when we went there, only a few weeks later, we start to receive many letters from our community, from the scientific, from the astrophysical community. And we received many books, many magazines, preprints, ribbons. So all that the material that me can still maintain my professional work. So this is very important. Let me stable and also give me a chance to communicate with all my colleagues outside. At that time I can communicate with my colleagues in the United States, in the East, in Europe, or in other parts of the world. But it's difficult to communicate with my colleagues in China. So this means because I stay in the embassy, my colleagues are very close. Maybe the distance only 1 kilometer or something. But I difficult to communicate, to let them what I do this moment. And many of my colleagues also worry my situation. They say, Fang, stay there. It's maybe unstable. They worry my situation. Finally, we found a way how to let my colleagues in China know my situation. At that time I wrote several the scientific articles. All that scientific articles distributed by Fermi Lab. This help. We have international. They help. I showed them last time. This is one of my articles. Yes. And this article then they become a preprints of Fermi Lab. And the preprints of Fermi Lab distributed all the Department of Physics all over the world, including the physics department in China. So also many of my colleagues in China received such my article by the Fermi Lab and through the 1 kilometer use that way they received. Then also my colleagues know how about my situation and even they know how to communicate with us because I sure temporal mailing address. From San Francisco, that's right here. We're today in San Francisco of the site. And this story still not stop. This is a preprint. When this paper former published, I submitted in a European the magazine. At that period, I submitted in the February last year, accepted in the April of last year. At that period, well, now it's a very serious time for us because both governments still not want to solve our problem because it's still in the difficult time, not solved yet. So then my colleagues of State Department suggest me don't use the U.S. Embassy as your address here. Yeah. So not difficult for us. I chose Rome, Italy as my address. Perhaps some people remember last year in some period in a media, especially some Chinese newspaper, disclosed a rumor that Fang already get out Rome. It's not true. It's given by this paper. So this is we call we study the small universe, the small universe. So this means even I have such international support. How easy we deal with some dictatorship authorities. So this. My personal, I think many people have such experience. If we have more international help, more international network, so they make more easy to change the situation. So this also is why I still have a hope for a future of China. So now I would give a final conclusion or final prediction. It's not an astrological prediction, but they were given by astrophysicists. It's I show a picture like that the power of the communists, the power of communists, the history of this century. Of course, very difficult to measure the power. So I give a relative unit. From the beginning of the century, from the beginning of the century, the communists grew up very quickly. They get up very quickly. Soviet Union became the communist country first. Then in that period, the communists getting the reputation and going up. In the center of the century, then the communists approached the peak time. The more country became the communist regime. The East Europe and China too, and including several other Asia countries. So become that time the big time. And then when the last 20 years, then the communist ideology gradually going down step by step. Now, 2 years ago, the communists finished in East Europe. In Soviet Union also, in the situation is very difficult. Now China is still higher than others. But I would say if you have the historical point of view, it means you can see Chinese history is not too different from other countries in this century. It means if you study the history of communism, so when they're going out China to go down too. So this is the main trend. This is the main trend of our world. It's no any country can avoid. So this I can predict in the future. The communism also very going down in China. So then the Chinese communists already in China also they lose reputation. So I will tell you a story. Also, I took education in that time, in the peak time. We often been told by authorities. China, we also been educated, political education side. China can only be saved by communists. This is the slogan been repeated many times when we were the students. So right now, the authorities still use this slogan to tell the students. Then just after the massacre, one of the top leaders of the party gave a speech to students in university. In one of the university, the speech he repeated the slogan again. He repeated, "China can only be saved by communists." Then at the same time, one of students in the audience, then he wrote a note. Then pushed to the forward to the lecturers, the note side. "Sir, you are wrong. The correct slogan should be the communists can only be saved by China." So this is the more situation now. So I would make a conclusion. You can say the science, the cosmology is only we have science. We want to have modern science. We want to have modern cosmology. We need the democracy in China. This is really some close relations. So I would conclude the road to Chinese freedom and democracy has already been long and difficult, and is likely to remain so for many years to come. It may take a decade, a generation, or even longer. But whatever the case, there can be no denying that a trend toward democracy, freedom has been set. That will be very hard to turn completely around. The historical demonstration in Tiananmen Square have revealed the enduring truth that the time for freedom, science, and democracy in China eventually will come. The world will never forget the men and women of Tiananmen in 1989 who paid with their life for freedom in China. Their cause yesterday is still our cause today. The commitment they made yesterday is still the commitment we should make today. It truly is a dream that shall never die. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for such an inspiring speech. Not much to say. Professor Fang had agreed to answer some questions.
There's another question. Today, the White House announced that the United States wants to keep mainland China as a favored trading nation status. How do you feel on that? Should we put more pressure on them for political change or not?
I think I know the Bush's the position. So I think I already mentioned several times. I still feel there are some double standard in foreign policy. It means you compare the Soviet Union and China, the response given by to the human rights in the Soviet Union much stronger than China.
You have tremendous faith in the power of education in Germany, which was so highly educated. We found skillful, great people at the service of evil. What makes you think it would be different in China?
The education, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Germany, you had great science,
Oh, yeah.
high education, all those people,
Yeah.
most of them supported an equal regime.
Yeah.
So why do you have such faith in the power of education? I had it when I was a youth.
You mean East Germany? No. Right there. Why they are having such education and science? I in my research, just due to the regime, this Chinese have the capability to have the science. The many overseas Chinese scholars like science, they got the education and they have the contributing science. But I just mentioned that's why the difficult due to the constraints given by the authorities. Sometimes they want to do something, they lose time and very much time. For instance, in our generation, in my class, many my classmates, at that university time, they're smart. They want to do the research, and they already have the capability. But there's not too long, then they start to the countryside, so there's many time. So this is our situation.
I think Professor Fang didn't mean that education, what he meant that education is necessary for enlightenment, but that the education is not sufficient to be enlightened.
In your opinion, what should be the attitude of Western scientists towards China right now?
Yeah, this I've been asked many times the same questions when we still we get out. Then in my I know there are quite a diverse opinions. Some people want to boycott the activity in China. Some side they should go there. I think maybe both reasons true. You know, some if you boycott, you show you pressure to keep pressure on the China authorities. It's true. And some people accept the invitation, been there. But when you've been there, you contact with your counterpart directly, you help them directly, and also you show your concern with human rights situation. I think also give pressure to China authorities. Recently in Berkeley, I just dropped here from Berkeley, a group want to visit China. He just asked me provide the list of the person who suffered. So they want to, if they want, in China, want to make such a list, it requires the China authority to explain what those persons' situation. I think this is good, the pressure.
I think it's so difficult to get the Communist Party down because they're so smart. Trust Communist Party, you could be the leader. You have the superpower, you have power, you can get the benefit from your operation. So they're smart. It's according to my opinion.
No, maybe I agree you there. The dictatorship of communists is very strong. It's true. If you compare with other dictatorships, it's very, very hard. But they already have many evidence show that China communists collapse.
Yeah, compare with the party in America, in the United States, Communist Party in China.
But you know, East Europe already changed. They are already. If 2 years ago I didn't answer your question, now I think now true. Already, you know, East Europe changed. Soviet Union also changed. So why China not?
We want you to be the president of China. Do you want to do it for China and do it for the world? We want you to be the president of China.
President.
Do it for China and for the world.
Sorry? Oh, no, I'm volunteer.
Many Westerners who would think about visiting China
Yes.
wonder whether going to China now is beneficial to the country or supportive of the government.
They still, I think, the same answer as those again the last question. I think the whole thing depends on your attitude, not depend on which you choose. Even you boycott or you visit, you can do the same with pressure to China. Like even if you want to show your pressure, you stay outside. You can do stay inside. Okay.
In your opinion, what should the United States government do regarding most favored nation trading status in order to do the most good?
You know, I understand the MFN has competition. It's not the competition not depend on the Chinese, not depend on the Tiananmen massacre. You know, before Tiananmen massacre, you already have competition. It means at least you have the competition of free immigration, and others you ban the production given by forced labor. So you have such a competition. So they mean, in my view, if you only insist such conditions, they already they have China to change the human rights.
So you believe since they are violating those conditions with prison labor for exports and
sure, you should. You know, recently many
exports, they should be denied.
Yeah, should be searched.
To check the subject, what scientific problem are you working on there?
Yesterday I already took one part I studied, one topic I studied, like topology. The one part. I also work on another topic.
Could you elaborate?
Elaborate. No, I'm searched. University library. Give some
How do you divide your time?
Sorry?
How do you divide your time? How many percent?
How many percentage? How many percentage? Just the last 4 months, there are, I got many projects, and about half. That means half time, like typically in Stanford, the one talk in physics, one talk is non-physics, but it's still part of physics. The half. But the next semester, I was teaching, so I will pay more time.
Which is more meaningful.
I prefer, I like teaching research.
The green arm there is
My English is not so good, but I think you understand. You're a player from the Communist Party. If they give you another chance, another opportunity, are you going to join the Communist Party again?
Communist Party, get in.
they give you a push you join Communist Party.
I already answered, but in an interview, I answered, but now I don't want any.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't here.
Sorry?
I wasn't here. I just came
No.
Sort of a related question. It seems like it's the quickest amount of change in Russia came from the party itself. Is there any chance that the moderate forces within the Communist Party in China could come to control again? And if people like you were in the party, would you not be able to help move that along?
This is my favorite before the 10th massacre, I even that, for perhaps here some of my former students will remember about 5 or 6 years ago, I gave a speech and encouraged students to join the party. The party inside the party was easy to do reform. And I encourage people to join the party. And in fact, in all the group, in my group, it means the Astrophysics Center we have in university, all members of the Astrophysics Center became party members. But I felt when all the members become party members, I've been expelled. So this shows the idea is not correct. This means we should have a group. They take the pressure to the party. Only that we need that. We need at least we need an opposing group.
Seriously, are you organizing an opposition party?
No, I didn't. I'm not that.
Way back then.
Before you left China last year, you wrote a statement to Chinese government. How difficult for you to come up with that statement? And also, there were several interpretations about your statement overseas. What's your interpretation?
The whole statement has been published in Chinese and in English too. This is very clear, sure. The first statement is 3 points. 1 point is show my state political position. I mean, I against the 4 principles given by Deng Xiaoping. Now I still against it. This first point. The second point, I said I will go get out to take a medical treatment. Medical treatment, nothing, no. Of course, I've been temporary not here. I took some hospital, checked my body. Third, the point is I mentioned originally, the third point, the China authority requires me to sign that don't refuse to join any activity which is against the Chinese government. But I refuse that statement. I just only accept. I can guarantee I will not join any activity which is against China. Okay, that's it. I never against China. I support.
Since you said you need a group to fight against the Communist Party, why don't you reject several invitations to be the leader of that group?
Which you mean organization?
Democracy movement overseas.
Yeah, this is not the logical conclusion. I stand still much help to some same as that we're talking about. But I think I do the individually. So some, there's too many organizations which I will choose to join. One program is not. It's very difficult to choose.
Which is a suitable leader of that?
No, I don't think so. I can reduce that. They quite diverse opinion.
Back then.
Some thinkers and scholars in exile from communist countries find the great freedom in the West very frightening.
Yeah.
Has the freedom hurt you or helped your creativity in your thinking?
That means some distant find the Americans, let's say also some difficult, some many problems. Your opinion? Come here. Yeah, the Chinese people in China never demand the change, immediate change to it. Like the United States or never demand that. If you study the first part of demonstration in 1989, I mean the April, students demand quite limited, quite reasonable. They only demand the dialogue with authorities and the freedom of speech. Only that. I think all that. So very limited. They never ask more to they change the government. So Chinese, I think Chinese intellectual and the students and the important know we should gradually get the democracy step by step, not just jump.
I should add that even before recently, Professor Fang had very widely traveled to the West, so it's not that it's a strange country it's coming for the first time. The US, Europe, Japan, many times also is very experienced. The question is,
what's your opinion about the influence of Taiwan to China in the future?
Taiwan, has the same nation as mainland China, and the same language, same culture. So if the Taiwan becomes the democracy kind of region, now the Taiwan already economically developed region, and the politically also changed a lot. Since you already have opposing the party, it can be multi-party system. So if they can go ahead and make it good the democracy, I think they will come improvement. As you like.
a few more questions. Go ahead.
I formulate if you already answered that, I'm sorry. Hayek has mentioned that the role of China's democracy is low and high. The reason why it says no democracy in Chinese family, the children grow up without knowing how to exercise their right, how to make choice. What is your opinion on this?
This, of course, you mentioned the culture, tradition, culture. But I would say recently, many families already changed. If you compare it with 40 years ago, when I was a child, then I feel they already changed a lot.
Yes. What would you tell overseas Chinese students? Would you encourage them to return to China, or would you encourage them to stay abroad?
If the condition is possible, I hope they will back. Some partially students back if the condition will change some time. Because we can do something in China, inside China, is not able to do the same.
So they will be better off to stay abroad now.
Some stay outside. We need both, in fact. Why I still, why last 10 years China changed very much. I think that most is due to the information flow. It means open countries and many information gathered in China. Not the physical force, just the information sent to China became the physical force. So it means we need some Chinese students outside to still give the information flow.
Well, I think I'm going to stop here. We have been working Professor Fang very late every day, and it's already this is third lecture he has given. So let's thank him and